Ooh.
Hey y'all, I was trying to record a video on my usual spot, but it's so sunny that like you can barely see my face. So I have to like go into my corner. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about hair porosity. Literally all that means is how thirsty your hair is. And a lot of people might think like, okay, who cares? It's actually really important for you to know your hair porosity or how thirsty your hair is because it will explain a lot of things such as frizz and dryness and breakage. When it comes to hair porosity, there are 3 levels: high porosity, medium porosity or normal porosity, and low porosity. So it's important to know why there are certain levels of hair porosity or hair thirstiness. I'm going to show you a few diagrams so that you can understand. When you look at a hair strand from a microscopic view, you will see these little flakes. These are called hair cuticles. Basically, they're like little scales that go over your hair strand that will determine how much product goes in and how much product goes out. On a high porosity strand, the cuticles will be raised, or the little scales will be open. This means that moisture can get in really easily to the hair strand, but it also means that moisture can get out really easily. So if your hair tends to be frizz and dry, you most likely have high porosity. The raised cuticles allow moisture and water to escape from the hair strand way more easily, thus making your hair feel dry. And also, the raised cuticles are what make hair look frizzy. So in medium porosity hair, the cuticles are a little raised and also a bit closed. They're right in the middle. It can absorb moisture, but it is also harder for moisture to be lost. Since the scales are a little more closed than high porosity, moisture can stay trapped into the hair strand for longer periods of time. So if you have middle porosity hair, you might have frizz, but it's not going to be like a severe problem for you. You can easily fix it with like a good conditioning treatment, a deep treatment, or some oil. So frizz is there, but it's also not like a severe problem that you have. Then there's low porosity hair where the cuticles lay almost completely flat and they're almost virtually shut. This means that moisture retention is very high. This hair type holds on to moisture the best, but since it's virtually closed, it's also very hard to get the moisture in there. But once the moisture gets in, it's going to stay there for a long period of time. When your hair doesn't have frizz and it looks shiny, this means that your hair cuticle is lying all the way flat because it reflects sunlight, and your hair doesn't look rough because the cuticles are laying flat. Also on low porosity hair, when you like apply product to your hair, you'll feel like it sits on top rather than it being absorbed. If that happens to you, then you most likely have low porosity hair. Some people might wonder, can I change my hair porosity? And in a way you can. The more heat you apply to your hair, the higher the cuticles will raise. The more you heat style, the longer the cuticles will stay open, and that's why if you heat style like every single day for like a year, your cuticles will like stay open always and you'll always have like frizzy dry hair. But then like cold things, they like have the opposite effect on the hair cuticle. And that's why a lot of people say like, oh, do your final rinse with cold water, which is what I do. It helps to lower the hair cuticle so that you can lessen your frizz and dryness, and it will retain that moisture in the hair strand so that it can stay moisturized for longer periods of time. This actually also happens with basic solutions and acidic solutions. Basically, if a product has a low pH, it is acidic, and an acid is known to close the hair cuticle like cold water. So a lot of girls use apple cider vinegar as conditioner in the hair to close the hair cuticle, and they find that it gives them tremendous shine and frizz control. And products with a high pH are basic, and basic solutions are known to raise your hair cuticles. So like a lot of girls use baking soda. At this point, a lot of you might be thinking, oh, so a raised cuticle is a bad thing. Not always. Sometimes having a raised cuticle is actually very beneficial depending on what you need to get done. For example, if you want to deep condition, the reason you add heat to your hair like with a shower cap is because that opens your hair cuticle so more moisture can get into your hair. That's deep conditioning. So now, how do you find your hair porosity? There are basically 2 tests. There's the water test and the slide test. So for the slide test, just grab one single strand of hair, a single strand of hair, and basically you're just going to run back and forth with your fingers. The more slippery it is, the more closer to low porosity you are. So like if you're slipping your fingers and it feels jagged, almost like when you're sliding and you like stop a little, it's more likely that you're high porosity because the cuticles are raised. But if it slips really easily, you're probably low porosity because the cuticles are closed, so it's easier to slide across. Then there's the water test. So you can take that same hair strand you were like sliding on, just take one out. Just grab a cup of water, just make sure it's like room temperature, and then drop the hair strand in. Leave it in for 2 minutes. Come back and look at what happened to the hair strand. If the hair strand sinks to the bottom of the cup, that means that the cuticles were raised and they absorbed all that water, and that's why they sank. But if it's floating on the top, it's most likely low porosity because the cuticles are closed, so they didn't absorb much of the water, so they didn't sink. And if you have normal porosity, it's probably just going to be mid-floating, mid-sinking, not too much of either. So comment, like, subscribe, and let me know down below what hair porosity you have. And if you guys want to see anything else, please give me requests. I love making videos for you guys. Thank you, y'all. Have a great day. Bye!